Yo guys, it's Kyle coming at you from Bainstorm Reviews. I just saw The Front Room, directed by Sam and Max Eggers, starring Brandy Norwood and Kathryn Hunter. Not in my car. This is a film that I wanted to see in theaters, produced by A24, which, as you know, typically makes fantastic horror films and just really good films in general. And I don't think that they've ever missed. So I was really intrigued by this film. I didn't expect to see Brandy in a role like this, and Kathryn Hunter, I think, is just fantastic, especially in these really weird roles, like the ones that the one that she has here in The Front Room. So this is about a husband and wife, Brandy, who plays Belinda, and her husband, and they are ready and eagerly awaiting the birth of their first child when the husband's father passes away and the stepmother is forced to move in with them. Weird things happen, and I'll kind of leave it at that. I don't want to spoil anything. Now, if you are familiar with the last name Eggers, you are probably familiar with Robert Eggers, who is most known for things like, most recently, Nosferatu, and things like The Northman and The Lighthouse, which the two that I've seen, Nosferatu and The Lighthouse, were fantastic. Steeped in this really dark and rich storytelling. And these brothers, Max and Sam, they're twins, but brothers of Robert, use similar techniques to bring this film to life. It's not in black and white, which is, a signature of Robert Eggers. And I like that. They set themselves apart in that way. And there were a lot of times that I forgot, who had directed this film, who wrote this film. And I think that that's good for the film, good for the product, and ultimately good for the success of these twin brothers, Max and Sam. With that being said, I'll say this now and then lean into the good. This might be my least favorite A24 film to date. Now, We Live in Time, Talk to Me, I just saw Baby Girl. This is not a bad movie by any means, but I don't think it quite lives up to the standard of what I've gotten used to with A24. It's very silly, very dark, and the Eggers blend this humor and this darkness throughout the entirety of the film. And I think that's very nice, but I think it lacks the vigor that I've come to anticipate and expect in A24 productions. I don't know if it's the actors, I don't know if it's the directors, I don't really know what it is specifically, but it's just lacking that gusto that I was really, really hoping for. Now, again, with that being said, I think it's a very interesting concept, and it's not original by any means, but it makes you think because I really didn't know what the fuck was going on. It's over, and I still don't really know what happened, with the exception of what they show us in the final seconds of the film. I don't really know what was happening. That's okay. I'm okay with it being open-ended. But it's just, again, it's a good film. It's not a great film by any means. The acting is good. Brandy was significantly better than I anticipated she would be. Kathryn Hunter, as I've said, is wonderful, and she, once again, is wonderful in this very weird, eccentric sort of role where you sort of love her and you love to hate her. And I think it's very interesting that she's able to portray a character that is able to do both. And then I think there's some really unique and wonderful uses of the camera to help to develop suspense and intensity and even comedy from time to time. Again, this is a relatively funny movie. I laughed out loud on multiple occasions, and a lot of it's awkward laughter, but that's intentional. So I think that the Eggers are successful in doing what they achieve or what they had hoped to achieve in that regard. It's a fine cast. It's a small cast. Again, those two were fantastic. I like the use of light. I think what they use light most often for is to develop this house. It's this house that they've lived in and becomes the home for their stepmother and stepmother-in-law and their soon-to-be newborn baby. And there's all this moving in and out of the house, and they use, like the Eggers do, to develop this house in a very unique way where It's almost to the point that the house has a character, but it's not quite that far yet. It doesn't quite cross that line, which is okay. I wasn't anticipating that. I wasn't in need of something like that. But they use the light and the darkness to stretch this house, to make it feel a little more claustrophobic at other times. And I think that their use of light in that regard is really useful and does help to develop this film, and specifically the house throughout the course of this film. I again had really high hopes for this film, but that's because of A24 and the stamp that being stamped on it sort of sets expectations now that everyone expects it to be really, really, really good. And it's a good movie. It's not a great movie. So with that, I'm going to give The Front Room a 7 out of 10. I was hoping for some more. I was hoping for them to lean a little more into the horror, but that wasn't really this film. I'm not mad about it, but it disappointed me to a degree. So again, with that, I would give The Front Room a 7 out of 10. I think you should watch it. It's on Max right now. I would encourage you to spend. It's a relatively short film. It's a little over an hour and a half long, and it flew by. It didn't feel. It didn't feel. I never felt bored. I didn't feel like it was dragging at any point. So I thought it was successfully paced and effectively paced. So spend a little bit of time, watch this. It's going to make you uncomfortable. That's sort of the point of this film. That's sort of the Eggers staple, if you will, all of the brothers. And it works. And yeah, so until next time, peace.